From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, after tomorrow, a very difficult forecast on where Nate is going to go, how strong it's going to be, and what the impacts could be, if any, in Acadiana. But we do think we're going to see some effects of the storm locally, maybe tropical storm conditions, perhaps hurricane conditions not too far away. We'll get to all of that in just a bit. First off, though, as we look at the big picture, we continue to be under the influence of high pressure that's been driving nice dry air on the backside of an upper level low as well into the Gulf of Mexico. So one thing we see with this already, there's going to be some dry air, especially in the western Gulf of Mexico, but this feature is going to be moving westward and may interact with our tropical system that is off to the south here down in Central America. So something that we'll have to watch. We also have high pressure trying to build back in. So in between, we think Nate's going to scoot off to the north and accelerate through the Gulf of Mexico. And we won't know what we're going to get until late tomorrow night at the earliest, more than likely Saturday morning. And then there'll be a 24-hour period where you're going to have to prepare for something that'll be striking the northern Gulf Coast as we head into late Saturday night and Sunday morning. Across the area, relatively quiet, still breezy east-northeast winds. That will continue through tomorrow. We have that upper level system. You can see it right here. That's traveling westward and is going to have some interactions with Nate. But where is Nate here? You got lots of convection out in the Pacific, lots in the eastern Caribbean, a large gyre, an upper level and weak surface low here with lots of weak low pressure areas. Nate actually just crossing the Nicaraguan and Honduras border, still as a tropical storm right now. 40-mile-per-hour winds, but barely a tropical storm. Pressure is not too terribly low, but it's going to be getting into the Gulf of Honduras tonight through tomorrow. So that's where we do expect it to start to get its act together. We'll know much more tomorrow by this time on what kind of system is going to be heading for the Gulf. Could also interact down the line with the Yucatan. We have tropical storm warnings and a hurricane watch in effect there. Then it heads into the Gulf of Mexico. And again, this cone is the average error as we get 24, 36, 48 hours out. So this is not an average storm on forecasting. There's a lot less confidence. So even though we have a cone this big, it should be twice as wide. Landfall as a Category 1 storm at the very least is going to be 80 mile per hour here, 80 mile per hour winds Saturday afternoon. It may have a little bit more time to strengthen before it hits a little bit cooler shelf water right by the coast prior to landfall. New Orleans pretty much at ground zero, but this will likely change because we don't know what we're going to get with the interactions with land along Central America and the Yucatan. Now here's the cone, and here are the tropical storm wind probabilities. They go outside of the cone, and in the Acadiana proper, we're running anywhere between a 30 and a 50% chance of tropical storm force winds. And what is that? Winds greater than 39. That's enough power in the wind to knock down some trees, branches, to knock your power out. So we'll be watching that. Obviously, higher risk as you go farther to the east with the National Hurricane Center package. So here's the European model. We're going to show you three models. The European pretty much closely reflects what the current forecast track is with the National Hurricane Center, making landfall late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Don't hold us to these times. And then moving inland. Then we go to the GFS model, which has been on the western side of that forecast track bubble. It goes with a somewhat weaker system, but nonetheless a more direct smack into Acadiana as we head into Sunday morning. Then the RPM model, which we don't really trust too much with tropical systems, but sometimes with these type of systems you have to pay attention. Look what the RPM is doing. It's developing this into a pretty potent hurricane, making landfall in Acadiana. So what model do you trust? None of them. We'll just go with the current forecast cone. But if that RPM model is correct, then the winds really begin to pick up as we go into Sunday, with the possibility of hurricane conditions, gusts in Acadiana, but this will likely be displaced off to the east based on our latest track from the National Hurricane Center. So what can we expect? Storm surge, can't tell you where, but it could be up to 5 feet somewhere in Louisiana. Obviously, east of the center, on the backside of the storm, you're going to have north winds, so the water will be blowing out. 1 to 2 inches of rainfall west of the storm. 5 to 8 inches east of the storm. Where is that going to be? We can't tell you, but you get the idea. Saturday night, Sunday morning, the worst time for winds, tropical storm winds, but actual winds and wind gusts to be determined. And there may be a tornado threat as well, but a lesser threat mainly west of the storm, obviously, but perhaps southwest flank into Sunday afternoon. That would be our part of the world. So bottom line, be prepared for the possibility of a hurricane. Be certainly ready for a tropical storm, and let's hope that the track does not affect us directly. But the bottom line, I do think also hurricane watches and tropical storm watches will be issued for the Louisiana coast by the 10 o'clock bulletin tonight, if not 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So weather deteriorates Saturday afternoon. You got tomorrow to take care of your plans and have a plan in place. You'll have some of Saturday if you want to board up windows if we get to that point and we have a hurricane threatening. And then the weather comes in Saturday night through Sunday morning. Lingering showers Monday and Tuesday, but not hurricane related or tropical storm related. This thing will be moving quickly. But the front we were getting all excited about is not looking much like a front at this point. It will be a little bit cooler toward the end of next week. So a definitive front to sweep the system out is not happening. So anybody is at risk from the Louisiana-Texas border all the way over to the Florida Panhandle.
All righty, thank you, Rob.